What's going on, everybody out there? Welcome in for an exciting episode. I don't know if you guys knew this yet or not, but if you're in Pulse Chain, you're going to be rich in 18 months. And part of it's because of the guys that I'm bringing on today who are bringing liquid staking derivatives to Pulse Chain, which is the biggest market on the Ethereum blockchain. So I'm very excited for the potential here with this, and I'm going to get into the nuts and bolts of it with Chris and Van here in a minute. But to start, I just want to say if you didn't get a chance, go back and watch yesterday's stream with it was me and Charlie from Cultivate Crypto. We did like a pretty deep analysis on the markets, talked a little bit about the Fed rates, and talked about the stock market and how it's consistently making these new highs against the M2 money supply. That was pretty interesting, as well as a little bit of a dive into stablecoin dominance. It's like a lesser known looked at chart and how we're looking pretty good for a bull market. So very happy with the way that went down. And if you didn't get a chance to sign up for the Pulse Chain Tour meetup in Vegas, go check out pulsechaintour.com. I'm pretty sure these guys are going to be pitching this project there, and there's a $2,500 headhunter fee or a reward for if they take the gold home, which good. Maybe there's a good potential they might be doing that, bringing so much value to the Pulse Chain. So I'm very excited for these guys. I got to meet them on the cruise back in December. It was the Pulse Chain cruise. We went down to Mexico, and it was interesting. I kind of got blindsided because I didn't really know much about liquid staking at the time. So this was like my first foray into it. And these guys have made like a really sleek interface. It's pretty easy to use. It's not a complex idea. It's just if you're just a regular person and you don't have 32 million pulse to become a validator, or you don't want the headache of learning how to set one up or making sure you're not getting slashed and your computers are going down. How awesome is it that you can just put a portion of a smaller amount of pulse into a pool and just start to receive that yield from validating and letting someone else do the work for you effectively. It's pretty awesome. So without further ado, I'm going to bring these guys online. Chris, Powell, and Vandal, welcome in.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, what's up?
Oh man, dude, it's time. I made you guys wait long enough, and here we are, getting out in front of all the beautiful people on the Pulse Chain. So yeah, my first thing here that I want you guys to cover is maybe just, let's just start with backgrounds a little bit. Why are you guys qualified to make a project like this, and how did you get into it? And maybe drop a little bit of Marlin love.
You want to take the honors, Van?
Sure, I'll take it. So what's up, Axie community? This is Vandal Calendar. My background is actually in computer science. I've been coding since I was 12. I was a big gamer. Because of gaming, that's how I found out about Bitcoin. It was actually a game called MapleStory, a private server. I bought my first Satoshi back in March or February of 2017. It was just over $1,000. Fast forward, as I was going to university, I actually met Chris, not knowing it was Chris, because I'm also really into cars. He had a cool, neat little red Honda. So I left a note on him, on his car. And then fast forward another 4 years, I met him at the Atlanta Blockchain Center, where we actually created Project Pi. And here we are. I feel like we are qualified to do it because of our background. And Chris will talk about more, me being computer science and hardware. I've actually been gaming and doing computer stuff before I was even born. My dad has been a network engineer for over 30 years. I was building computers since I was 2, fiddling with iPhones and Androids, jailbreaking them, just a tinker at heart. And yeah.
Awesome, dude. That's exciting. I was a gamer. Did a little bit of pro gaming in my day.
Oh, really? What games were you pro at?
I just played too much Halo. I just played way too much Halo, man. Yeah.
Nice.
Did you run around with the sword? What was that sword called?
Oh yeah, the energy sword, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to unlock out. You have to get energy sword and then go camp on Snipe Tower with Sniper sword. That's how you play. But yeah, man. So it's funny how I was actually having this conversation with many people over the years, but yesterday with a very, very well off player in the Pulse Chain ecosystem who started with pro gaming, and he worked his way up, and now he's like a crypto god. And it's funny because like you're either like you fall into one of two camps. You're either ultra competitive and you get into crypto and you take different approaches. Some people they'll create something and they'll become a founder, and other people they try to out trade the market. And I think that's where that competitive gaming background kind of lends itself well, or you're really smart and you're a physicist and you just have like this big vision of like what's possible. You want to dive into that, Chris?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Chris Powell. Yes, I'm a physicist. Funny how my path kind of led me to where I'm at now. I actually wanted to be a meteorologist. I love the weather, but so some setbacks happen here and there, and found a second love, actually third love, I guess, physics and blockchain. And while I was studying blockchain, I got into while I was studying physics, I got into blockchain. Um, it was merely by accident because I had got a Coinbase account back in 2014, and I thought that crypto back then was like stocks, like where you have to purchase one whole share of Bitcoin. So I was like, okay, Bitcoin's at $670. I don't have a $670 Bitcoin. This must be a scam. Fast forward 3 years later, I ended up tutoring a seventh grader in algebra, and I saw this guy at this Starbucks with this massive desktop computer, and it looked so out of place. But he brought like a 30-inch monitor too at a Starbucks, but on his screen were some charts. So I was like, hey, he's studying charts. I just kind of got into stocks again. Let me ask him what he's doing. So he's like, I'm trading stocks, and I'm also trading crypto. And I'm like, crypto, what's that? And he's like, oh, like Ethereum, Bitcoin, and XRP. And mind you, this was December 2017 when I got in. So I went and did some research. He told me about it. And I got in at the last part of that 2017, 2018 bull run. And then everything tanked from there. But I just stayed consistent. And then just fast forward from there, I would say about 2020, I learned about blockchain nodes and how effective they can be as far as like just generating yield, supporting different blockchains. But I noticed one problem with a lot of companies was they would write documentation, but the documentation would still kind of be out of order and out of place. So I took it upon myself to make documentation a little bit easier, just actually going through each step by step, and also making videos. And so, long story short, I ended up landing a blockchain job, actually off of Twitter, just helping an Oracle company on a different chain. And, it's still node related. But, as far as why we are the ones to do this, it's more so, you know, we've put in so much effort in like understanding not only just like blockchain nodes, but just like going into physical nodes when we first started Project Pi, to pivoting to more of an infrastructure with RPCs. When we pivoted, we actually went from physical to RPCs where we supported Base, we supported Ethereum, Polygon, Pulse Chain, XDC, and you know, just seeing the inner workings of all that just led us believe like, okay, if we're able to do this, we know that we can, enhance ourselves and continue to push forward with what we got now.
Yeah. So explain for me for a second. Well, I guess look, I'm interested in the node architect. Similar to you guys, well, similar to Vanna specifically. I actually started in crypto looking for passive income in mining, and so that like I would buy computer parts and piece together hardware. It's pretty easy actually these days. You can just buy some GPUs, buy those little PCI connector things, and like plug them in. And I was mining Ethereum before I knew it. Of course, I was paying for the most expensive GPU cards at the time because there was a shortage of all the cheaper ones. But it did have a high ROI, and that ended up being lending itself well for resale value in the future. I was running some GTX 1070s back in the day in 17. And in addition to, I bought some amp miners from China and ran them in a basement, and then the basement got too hot and things were exploding and circuits were blowing out, and we moved that operation into an official building in end of 2018, early 2019. Built it myself, got it all set up and going, and that was fun. Stressful because the Bitcoin price was so volatile in that 2-year period, And so there was periods where you weren't running, and there was periods where you were running and making bank. And but I took my exit. I guess my theme here is that so I've always had a love for computing as well. I'm kind of nerdy like that. I fight with my girl Candace about this a lot, where it's like human connection is important, right? And I agree to a point, but like when you're so passionate and focused in on something, like and so like nerdy into something like that, it's like it kind of can take over. And That's kind of lends itself well to building things of high value and becoming like elite in it is just like you'll find yourself learning more and more about things that you didn't expect. And in this case, it was like with mining, it was like learning about the economic side of cost of production and figuring out where's the opportunity, where's the edge in the market, and that led me to selling the Bitcoin mine at the 64K top on Bitcoin in 2021 in May. And I kind of capitulated in on the Richard Hart ecosystem because I thought that this is where the opportunity was. And here you guys are building one of the biggest value propositions on Ethereum on Pulse Chain, which you could argue that this will be where the money flows, and this is going to be front and center of DeFi. So I would like you guys to talk a little bit about why is liquid staking so big, and what could you see the future for doing it on Pulse Chain?
You want me to take this one?
Go ahead, Chris.
So, I mean, in my opinion, one of the things that I'm actually looking at right now, and, we were talking about this, Van, is that right now on gopulse.com, you can look and see that about the number has actually risen since we last talked about it, but it's about $300 million locked into just assets that's just staked assets. So, you look at validators or DeFi protocols where you have to stake, there's just $350 million locked. And so what that means is for anyone that is new to all of this, you're not really able to use and optimize the amount of funds that you have to be able to take it and use that capital elsewhere. And that's normal with a lot of staking platforms. You have to stake it, let it sit, you earn yield over time, and that's cool and all. But we wanted to take a different approach. We wanted to make it to where individuals will still be able to have access to their capital without having to lock it up. So that's where liquid staking come in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking here on the GoPulse page right now, and I'm seeing that there's $208 million of locked value, and that's 1.7 trillion pulse that's not being dumped, and it's earning yield for the validator class. And you guys are telling me that you're going to bring this additional value to this by allowing smaller players to pool together to create a liquid staking derivative. So maybe Van, you want to take a little bit of a jump at that?
Yeah, and also just on the validator node side. So most people, if you don't know this, to become a Pulse chain validator, you need 32 million pulse. With our protocol, you're going to need 1/4 of that, 8 billion pulse with our collateral PPY token, pooled with the liquid staking. So with this, like you were saying, Axis, with the liquidity that's locked up, you would have your pulse, you deposit it, and you would get your liquid staking derivative token, ST Pulse, and then you can do whatever you want with it, just like you would do with Pulse. Buy, sell, buy more Pulse, buy more Hex, buy Axis tokens. But essentially, that's what it stands for. So when I want to tell people, it's like, if you understand what staking is, just take the liquid and the derivative. Liquid means you have liquid cash or assets to be able to buy something, and derivative is just, again, it's derivative wrap token of what that is.
Okay, cool. Where do you guys want to take it? Do you want to go into, there was a question here. This is probably going to be on the main topic on everyone's mind is there a coin? Is there a coin? You want to dive into that? I know the answer, but I want you guys to maybe just say yes or no, and then say how it comes into existence by starting with just don't start with PPY, but start with STPLS.
Yeah, okay. Sure. So yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, with ST Pulse, technically, yes, we have an asset. We have to create that ST Pulse. So long story short, yes. But what were you about to say, Van?
Well, yeah, like Mitch was saying, if you want to talk the ST Pulse, right? So this is how it's all going to work, guys. So I'm not sure if you know this. We could talk and dive deep more about this. So we're going to have early staking coming soon. When we met Axis on the cruise, we were actually building our everything, right? Going over tokenomics, making sure everything is good. Why we have 8 million posts instead of 1 million posts, 2 million posts. How is everything going to work? And everything. So we actually just submitted our smart contracts. That's being audited. We should get that soon, and we're going to be talking about early staking. Now, with early staking, this will be able to get you in, have your pulse that's just sitting there doing nothing if you're not a validator to gain our PPY token. Once that duration is over and our platform is out and ready for the liquid staking derivative, you'll be able to claim your PPY token, transfer it, and then you can have your ST pulse. And now a lot of people, like you were talking about before, if you're not technical enough, the beautiful thing about Project Pi, to make it simple, we're just a simplified, decentralized node infrastructure and liquid staking protocol for Pulse Chain. That's a lot of words. What exactly does that mean? So the services we provide is a one-click executable, all full physical node that we have that we sell for $16.99 on our site. It's fully loaded. All you do is just plug up everything, click it executable, and you're up and running. With that, we also provide RPC services where you can build out your decentralized applications, and then likewise our DeFi protocol, liquid staking. So with this, we're building a full ecosystem to where you can run your own hardware if you like to. You can utilize us for RPC services as well as liquid staking.
Well, I want to talk about like the pre-launch staking period and a little bit about that. So is that something that you can do now? To get PPY, or is that after launch? I guess I misunderstood maybe.
Yeah, so not yet. We have deployed our smart contracts. They are currently being audited to make sure there's no exploits and everything is copacetic. Yeah. Once everything is good, we will then make an announcement. Hey guys, early staking is available. You can go ahead and go to our site, and Chris can share his screen later on about this to show how easy our UI and UX is, how simple it is. You would simply deposit your pulse and you would start gaining yield for a PPY token.
Then the question becomes, does that pulse, what's the use of that liquidity? So that's like early, is it locked in for a vesting period? Is it, you can add and remove at any time? Is it like, that's your initial liquidity injection to get the thing rolling? Like, you want to explain that, the economics behind the thought process behind that?
Yeah, I can explain that. So with early staking, you're able to earn our token. As far as the pulse, you're able to put in, I like what Van told me, it was a battle of the stakes. So essentially, whoever put in more pulse actually will earn more PPY tokens. So they have more access to our governance / collateral token. And so you're able to stake at any time. You're also able to unstake at any time. So if you just feel like, okay, I don't know if I could just wait, or something pops up, emergencies happen, you can unstake at any time. However, there is a penalty for unstaking before the period ends for the distribution of the PPY token. Essentially, it's going to be based off of whatever you staked in total versus what you have staked now. So if you staked, let's say 1,000 tokens, and then you unstaked 500, it's 500 divided by the 1,000, and that's basically 50% of your PPY that's burned. But the PPY is also burned, so that is a deflationary mechanism for our platform to start.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So I wanted to then roll that into, what's the inflation model look like for PPY? What's that tokenomics look like? You said governance. You said maybe other functionalities that might come alongside with that. Because if you could tell me this information, I could pretty much think in my mind a pretty good chart, like based on what you're telling me.
Yeah. So to start, it's going to be 1 PPY token per block. Per block, so per 3 seconds, and that inflation is going to be for the individuals that want to stake on our platform to become a validator. So or I'm sorry, you're going to need those the inflation for the rewards. So the staking rewards are going to come from that inflation.
Okay. You said
Yeah,
one per block, so every 13 or every 10 seconds, roughly, for pulse chain, roughly.
Yeah, if one block is about 3 seconds on pulse chain,
I think it's every 10 seconds. It could be, it
just
might be faster now. I don't know. I thought it
I
was
have to
10
do
seconds.
some research, but yeah, it'll be somewhere around that range.
Okay, well that's good to know. And then you said that burning mechanic that's consistent. So like no matter when, is it just in the pre period or is it a global parameter throughout the lifetime of the contract?
Just for the entire lifetime
Okay.
of the early staking contract.
So we're looking at a linear function where it's just the amount of PPY is going to increase on every block. You're going to get a coin that's inflated, right? Forever, basically.
Not forever. Eventually, it does stop. It plateaus out. It's about 2 or 3 years.
Oh, okay. So then
Yeah.
it totally is deflationary. Okay.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
so it's like deflationary in the early staking, and then when we're live, it's going to show more of an inflationary effect because we have to distribute the PPY to the node operators, and then after about 2 or 3 years, that's when the PPY token is going to go into more of a deflationary effect.
Okay.
At least it won't inflate.
How much? Do you have any expectations of how many node operators there might be after the first month?
That's a good question. What do you think? Because I personally think that after the first month, granted we haven't, we're working on that right now, so it's kind of hard to tell. But I would say probably within the 50 to 100 range because of the simply just how many people are just ready for this platform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's to be determined access. So basically, when looking at the mechanisms, and I know you like to do tokenomics, when we see you in Vegas, I'll share a little spreadsheet with you, and you can do some math. It's gonna be we'll have that live, but we won't have that live until our smart contracts are edited and everything, just in case we have to make any nuance changes. But it really depends, right? Because we want to make sure that our nodes are up and running. There's no slashing and uptime. And we want to make sure that our liquid staking protocol is matured before we bring on third-party validators. So as of right now, starting off, it will be more centralized. We'll be running it and make sure everything is good, be able to redeem the polls, the inflation reward, PPY and everything. And once we see, interest in people doing early staking, using our SD polls, doing partnerships with you guys, liquid loans, etc., be able to use SD Pulse, and I know the validations are copacetic, then we will be looking into getting third-party validators like yourself or whoever else wants to be on board. But as of right now, we don't have like a specific number. Starting off, we just want to make sure everything is running good because we're doing tests, but that's to be determined.
100%. I know it's like impossible to know like how fast it could, how many how many new players can enter this new ecosystem. It's brand new to Pulse Chain. So yeah, but I expect that it would. So there was a comment. So my thinking here is like, reaching out to existing validator teams to see if there's interest there to provide this service through them as well. I know David Feder is a huge Pulse Chain validator. He runs validatorstore.com. I don't know if there's an opportunity there for like a partnership for him. I know that team has also created its own form of an NFT staking derivative type tool. And so I know that this is it's going to get competitive here. It's going to be fun and exciting to watch. It's just going to ultimately bring so much more value to Pulse Chain, right? But I always find that cross collaboration is the most effective way for mass adoption. So definitely keep in mind, make sure you're my suggestion would be to make sure you're well read up on who's who in the space in terms of this specific niche. And, wherever there's opportunity to team up, do it, because that'll just make the whole ecosystem go that much farther.
Yeah, most definitely. Greatly appreciate the tips.
So I would love to, if we could just maybe run through the interface a little bit, and you can go like a step-by-step, more granular technical approach if you want to talk about each little page on there. And so feel free to share your screen, and we can just look at the front end there.
Alrighty. Let's see. Okay. Can you see that?
Question. Yes, I can.
Okay.
What's this question? Hold on one second. What is the relationship between Project Pi, the ATL Starter Labs, and the OnPulse Launchpad? that did a sacrifice on pulse chain, but then launched on base. I don't know. There's a lot of you're trying to find dots where there aren't any. That's funny. Okay. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted.
No worries.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, yeah, well, so as you can see, guys, Chris has his screen up and running. So we're going to go through basically our UI interface on our early staking, liquid staking, etc. It's very simple, very easy to follow. So
yeah, I like simple. I'm not a dev.
So super simple. You know, you can see that the total value locked, just simulating as if someone is in an early staking. And right now, you know, this is my stake. Reward duration, it has ended. The pulse staked, I staked 8,000 and I didn't unstake. So that's fine. And then my PPY rewarded is 318. So if I want to, I can just claim and transfer. So MetaMask pops up. I can confirm it. Can you see that, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
not the MetaMask, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, you didn't see the MetaMask? Okay, well, that's fine. That's fine. Just wait a little bit and it should do what it has to do. One thing I really like about PulseChain too is it actually is pretty fast. Okay, the transaction has confirmed. I'm gonna refresh the page. Okay, so PPY has been rewarded. I know you can't see it, but the PPY is actually in my wallet. And then if I go to liquid staking, the 8,000 that I staked is now into ST Pulse. And so now I can add the ST Pulse to my wallet. If I click it, I know you can't see it, but it is there. But how I know it's there is if I was to click on redeem, I could click, let's say I want to do 1,000, right? Okay, so I'm gonna redeem it and then we'll see what happens. So it's like, okay, I have my ST Pulse, I come back to the site and I want to redeem it. Well, look, there we go. 8,000 down to 7,000. So now my ST Pulse has converted back into Pulse. Some of the liquid staking statistics, mind you, I'm still in testing on this, so I'm like working on it, but you have the token address. So it's as simple as just clicking add ST Pulse to wallet or just copying this and put it into your MetaMask. Annual percentage yield, we're still working out the metrics for that, as well as the exchange rate, number of stakers, and then total Pulse staked is going to come from the early stake. As well as the reward period is actually going to be 14 days. I tested 10 minutes just to lower the time frame for testing the contracts.
Mm-hmm. That you said that the annual percentage yield. So is that? So the tough question here is there like a percentage of that gets distributed to node operators that the ST Pulse holders miss out on? So like a fee structure there.
Yes, sir. There actually is going to be a fee. There is one for the node operators. And so, like what you said, that's going to happen. The node operators do get a cut of that. And then we're going to take a super small fee, I would say about 0.02, 0.03%. That's going to be distributed into the vault and more than likely redistributed into the actual ST Pulse pot.
Okay. Are you guys going to make all that super clear in the documentation and where everything's going and like kind of the motive or what it could be used for as well?
Yes, it actually already is currently in our documentation. I'm not sure if you want to bring it up, Chris, or if anything, Access, if you want to go to it, simply it's just docs.projectpi.xyz. Basically, it shows how our liquid staking works, Pi pool works, the tokenomics of PPY, how to use ST Pulse, the percentage of the node operator percentage, likewise with the liquid staking. So if you go to how Pi staking works, which is right under early staking, then you can go to how to use Pi staking. I'm sorry. the one right above it. Yep. So if you click as a node operator, that basically goes through everything that goes through the steps. Very simple. We didn't go through it obviously, but again, when everything is up and ready, this is how simple and easy it is to become a node operator. Essentially, you need your node ID, deposit your 8 million pulse, make sure you're good to go, register it, and then you're up and running. And then you'll basically be able to see your dashboard and see all your collateral percentage, your pulse stake, and the rewards you're going to be going. And then likewise on the liquid staker side, we have that. And if you go down to the mechanics and overview, it kind of goes over the percentage and distributions of the node operators and the liquid staking. Again, we are still in a lot of testing,
Sure.
but we
Yeah,
do
no, that
have
makes sense. Transparency is
basic-
key. That's all I'm trying to say is like to have all this.
everything is transparent. Everything's here. Early staking. If you go to that documentation, that's basically set in stone since we've already we're getting that smart contract audited. But yeah, the documentation's here. Everything's here. Everything's transparent. Obviously, our contracts are going to be on the blockchain, so you can read out our contracts. We're going to have a white paper. So any questions that anyone have, please let us know.
So these guys, so this is I am going to bring this question back up now that it's making more sense, and you guys can kind of address this one. So this guy wants to know what's the connection between the Atlanta Blockchain Center, Project Pi, Starter Labs?
Yeah, sure. So the Atlanta Blockchain Center is essentially an incubator here in Atlanta that launched in July of 2022. We have networking events every single Thursday where we've had guest speakers basically talk to the community. Essentially, we've had up until 4 cohorts now. Krishna applied to the 3rd cohort back in November, if I'm not mistaken. September. And essentially, it was us and 4 to 5 other startups, and essentially they basically showed us how to, white paper tokenomics, the do's and don'ts, etc., like that. So the relationship between Project Pi and Atlanta Blockchain Center is, like I said, Chris and I were very passionate about blockchain technology. We both went to the same university. I was, the blockchain president at our university. We just wanted a place where we can go to because, in Atlanta, it was very sporadic. And then once, Atlanta Blockchain Center is there, we basically went there to work basically every single day. Free Wi-Fi, free.
You guys were working on the freaking cruise too. So I mean, you guys know how to party.
Yeah, we party, but we no bullshit. We are about work and making sure that things are working.
Well, I'm going to be really upset if we don't hit that 3/14 date. You know that, right? I'm just kidding.
Like I told you
about that.
Yeah, it's tentative. Like I said, and like we talked off camera, Axis. We want to be able to give a product that's good and that works. We don't want to rush it. So it's going to be tentative update from 3/14 to 4/13. It's just
2 more weeks, baby.
Yeah, but but again, Fast Abdul, good question. Again, the relationship is just we were a startup incubated there, and that's about it. Shout out to Marlon Williams, out of the way. He's putting Atlanta on the map. We have a hashtag called hashtag 10 and 5, basically the top 10 Web3 places to come to. It would be Atlanta. So
yeah. So let me do my own little soapbox moment here. So I met these guys on the cruise for the first time, and I also met Marlon, who is who heads up the Pulse Chain Foundation. It's like a new foundation that's been put together to spearhead and different initiatives in the Pulse Chain space to legitimize us in the eyes of cryptocurrency and try to get the Pulse Chain identity away from just one man and to make it about how big the community is and how it can go farther. And so, because I've been Hex Maxi basically for all intents and purposes for about coming up on 4 years, people respect what I say, and I'm a decent enough read of people that I'm pretty sure that I can't guarantee this because you guys I've only known you now for like a few months, but I'm a decent enough judge of character to know that you guys are hardworking people and you do have a passion for blockchain and you are making an effort to bring a ton of value to Pulse Chain. So that to me is a good starting place. And I mean, time will be the ultimate test to see where all the chips fall on the board. I know there's been some resistance in terms of the Pulse Chain Foundation from just very little But it's something that I think is important, and it's something that you can get behind. If you don't like it, go do your own foundation or start your own initiatives. Like, these guys are here to work; they're here to stay, and you know, I have a good vibe. If things change, I'll be very transparent about that as well. I'm happy to have you guys on the channel, and happy to continue going through this walkthrough and seeing anything else you guys want to share about Project Pi. And as the time goes on, it's going to be pretty expensive to build a validator. So thank God somebody's going to solve the problem, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Someone has to do it. It's so funny you say that because like I was trying to tell my wife, it's like, okay, would you rather work outside in the heat or work in a nice cold AC office? She's like, the office. Well, Chris and I would like to work in the heat. Not really. The node infrastructure, a lot of people don't realize it's very important. Without nodes, there are no blockchains. There is no Axie, there is no Pulse chain, there is no Ethereum, there's no nothing. So again, we just took it upon ourselves with, the background and I didn't go into this, but I actually was working on nodes, but on the Web2 side at MailChimp as a data engineer. And that's kind of how it all started. I basically texted Chris, was like, hey, come to the Atlanta Blockchain Center. I'm working remote. I'm pretty bored. Just doing Docker instances and stuff like that because I'm super passionate about blockchain. So he came over and he saw my terminal on the screen. He's like, hey, what is that? And I basically told him, it's like, wow, that is crazy. So long story short, we ended up making Project Pi within, that same day. Writing on the board, I had pictures and everything I could show you in Vegas, doing the logo and everything. But bro, we were living and breathing there, man. It was crazy, especially, in the early days, just coming up with new prototypes every single week, every single Thursday. People were like, you guys are on something, but we are on something because we're really passionate about blockchain. Really love the Pulse chain community.
I see that in you guys. Like, you have this, like, you are the biggest believers in this. It was obvious to me on the cruise that you guys like really believe in what you're doing and you're passionate about it. And, you're sitting around a bunch of hexagons that don't really think about these things very often or have a hard time relating to what your vision is. And I sensed that. And I know you guys sense that. You guys are smart guys. But because of your passion and your relentlessness and not willing to give up, now I'm more interested. And so, like, if you just stay true to that and stay true to yourself, I can guarantee you that this is going to end up good for everybody. So that's my message to everybody, that all the builders out there is like, if you have a dream or a passion or a vision, make it happen, make it happen. There was another question in here. This is a good one. Please ask them if they can describe their protocol in one simple sentence. How would they describe it? Maybe each of you take a stab and then I'll take a stab.
Well, I kind of said it early on. Like, you could just almost think of us kind of like the Apple of Pulse chain, right? We're building an ecosystem. We are a simplified, decentralized node infrastructure and liquid staking protocol on Pulse chain. Again, what does that mean? We provide the hardware, we provide the software, and we provide the DeFi. Essentially, that's what I would say in one simple sentence.
Cool. Your turn.
You took the good one. I was gonna say, well, on our Twitter, on our handle, you have Project Pi, and then you have Infinite Yield. One of the things that we started off as far as like, we were making slogans and such, and I always just thought of Project Pi, infinite opportunities, infinite possibilities. It's just like there's so many things that we want to fulfill and touch, but we understand that we have to make sure that we focus on our core products and the core services that we offer, and yeah.
And they kind of piggyback on. I'm sorry, Axis. Yeah,
Go ahead.
They kind of piggyback on what Chris said. Like, it's like, you may ask, infinite yield. What do you mean by that? Again, validators, nodes, infrastructure. They're always going to have to be running. You're always going to be gaining yield because of security, to secure the blockchain. So that's where that infinite yield comes in. And with the liquid staking, you just have Pulse sitting there. You can now be a part of that yield, and that's where that moniker, infinite yield, comes from.
I think there's an interesting dynamic with PPY token that as it becomes more deflationary, it gives early node operators an edge. They're going to get this asset that's going to appreciate in value. That's going to give them, so it's going to become a bit of a club if it's successful over time, because the guys that have all the PPY token are kind of going to dominate the network in a way. And that can be something good for competition to really make it explode during its hyperinflation phase here in the first year. And I think if I was going to say one sentence, it's like you could just say reimagining Bitcoin mining, or like simplifying, validating, or like it really, all it is guys, is it's just you can be a node operator, or you can be a holder of the staked pulse. You can deposit pulse, you can get back a staked pulse, which is you're able to start earning yield on it basically. So like if I have a bunch of pulse sitting in my wallet, it's not earning me anything, but I could also just convert that into ST Pulse, and now it's actually representing a treasury yield, just like the Hex perpetual tokens. So the Hex perpetual tokens, they're mining pools that are stakes that's earning Hex on Hex rewards, and those tokens are then tradable. It's a tradable stake effectively in token form. You could think of this in the same way. It's like you deposit Pulse, you get back ST Pulse. That's earning yield inside of a treasury. Whenever you want to redeem that for the principal plus yield, you can do that, and so it creates a secondary market for these treasuries.
Well said. Yeah, I like it.
All right. I think that covers. It's very actually now that we've talked about it. There's like basically three major things. You're going to be a node operator, you're going to be a base user, or you're going to try to like play the PPY market game, where you can try to watch that price chart and trade it, or you could use it in your nodes, or whatever you're going to do that way.
And SD Pulse.
Yeah,
Yep.
liquid staker.
Yeah, and like maybe this is here. You just gave me an idea. What about like the price delta between ST ETH and ETH? That's probably not much, right? It's probably slightly modified. I'm gonna pull up because I don't know. I've never looked into it, but I bet you it's pretty interesting to look at.
That's so funny. Yeah, we had looked into that yesterday. Remember?
Yeah. So I'm not sure what you normally look at. I like to use DeFi Llama. So if you go to DeFi Llama, look at LSDs. Lido has 72% of all of the liquidity and LSDs and ETH, and it's pretty ridiculous.
Direct me here.
Let me see if I can find it. I just type in DeFi Llama. Just do /LSD in your URL. I'm not sure where it is on the
Okay.
So essentially this is on Ethereum, right? So Rockapool was the first, and then you had Lido and a bunch of other competitors come out, Frax, etc. But just look at that percentage and look at that TVL and look at
$21 billion of Lido. So this is 9.41 million ETH staked, and now there's it's not 1-to-1, is it? For this
Lido
protocol?
Lido.
I know your guys' isn't 1-to-1, right?
No, it's not going to be 1-to-1. We would like it to be 1-to-1 essentially, but for Lido, I believe they are 1-to-1. You can go into their site. I believe it's a 4.2% APY, but essentially, they were one of the first, not the first, but one of the ones that people just really trusted. And again, when ETH 2.0 came out, people could stake it on the Coinbase, Gemini, and other stuff, but it was locked up. Lido came, was like, hey, you can lock it up, but now you have your derivative ST.
I'm gonna pull up the chart once. Is Lido the actual ticker? Lido.
So so they have their own token, but they have the derivative token. I'm not sure if they're ST ETH or not. Do you know, Chris?
This one here is their DAO token. So this would be kind of similar to PPY, correct? In the
that
concept?
Is correct. Yes.
So let's see, what did this coin do in terms of price performance? 4.5x, and it comes with extra utility there. So that's interesting. And this is just going back to basically this is a year of data, a little over a year.
You got to remember to access. This is on Ethereum, so since Pulse Chain is so early and it hasn't seen this bull market yet, and if we have our PPY token backed or pegged by Pulse, the price could be pretty interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's going to ride the wave.
Exactly.
Let's see, Steve. Let's see. I'm trying to get the staked ETH price. I just want to know how far off of a delta it is on regular ETH price. It should be the same, right? Theoretically.
Yeah, theoretically, it should be the same.
So 2271. Let's see what ETH's doing on this particular exchange. Yeah, so they're tracking exactly.
And again, it's like Chris stated before, as we return more people deposit, that's where, it's going to have that pairing. It's going to be a lot closer to 1-to-1.
Yep. And here's the interesting thing about this in my mind is like the hex perps, they go on like premiums and discounts based on the treasury value, but liquid staking derivatives are a little bit different in that it's just a consistent inflation rate, right? So explain to me, does the validator yield for an STPLS holder accrue over time for the pool? And then is there like an edge there? And as the TVL validator rewards build up, is there an edge if like somebody converts it before somebody else? Or is it always just constant and fair? I guess is what's coming to my mind. If that makes sense.
It should be constant and fair. One thing I'm just thinking about it all or whatnot, is that the individuals that pull together the polls, some of the polls will actually come from the liquid staking side to actually fund the validators. Because remember, we're doing 8 million. So the 24 million polls will be pulled from the liquid staking side as well. So that's something else to also keep in mind. But as far as your question, yeah, it should be fair.
Yeah, I was just
fairly consistent.
Thinking about that, and I'm like, because like, I'm trying to relate it back to hex for hexagons, like, like the 15-year hex stake is printing triple the yield. So it's a little bit of a different inflation dynamic there, where it's printing triple the yield. So the treasury value on a hex stake that's 15 years long can really be outsized, which means that 15-year perpetual might be worth more of a premium more often than like a 3-year or the 7-year, for example, because the dollar value locked in that stake that's accruing every day is more for the longer term ones that started earlier for sure. So, but in this case, it's I guess just to really elaborate on that is probably to make it really clear for people would be good. If we've done that I think a lot here, but just that's definitely something that ran through my mind. I was just looking here at the Lido price since going back to February 2021. So it was at 61 cents. It bottomed out at 44 cents, and recently it had a high of 378. So it's been in a 10x range its whole life, but it launched toward the end of the bull market. So it was like February 21. So here we are. You guys are going to be launching PPY token at the bottom right in phase 1 of the bull market for Richard Hart coins, basically. Which means that through the liquidity bonding of Pulse, it could really make the USD price of PPY do much more than just be stuck in a 10x range for 2 years for sure. I know that to be the fact for sure. It'll be interesting to see its performance against PLS, and I anticipate that early on, just like all these inflation coins, like Loan comes to mind. Loan's in a downtrend against Pulse because it's in its hyperinflationary phase. I wouldn't be surprised to see the same thing for PPY early on. But then eventually it'll turn into an accumulation zone, and then smart money will absorb all the supply up at the lows 1 year, 2 years into the project, and then send it. And a lot of that supply will be taken off the market forever and market up forever. So kind of like my quick and dirty analysis on the tokenomics. Hopefully it wasn't too bearish. It's opportunity to let it drop in the beginning. That's what I'm saying.
No, not at all. It's, being realistic. I like it too. I like the chart. Van sees all the time. I chart some from time to time.
Yeah. Chris is just putting everyone on game on charting and all that stuff. We have another, shout out to Webb as well too. Just the beautiful thing about not just the Pulse Chain community, but the community that we fostered at the Atlanta Blockchain Center. There's so many people that have awesome skills. People who are good at doing the trading, the NFTs, the node infrastructure, us, doing the dApps. Doing the back end for marketing. So again, What we're doing here for Project Pi is very interesting. When Chris and I first started, we knew we wanted to be a node infrastructure company because we knew that was important. And the main mission and our main goal was to just solve issues that new blockchains had. And one thing that we noticed with Postchain is because, the first, I guess, product was Hex, which is a CD. And then now you have Postchain. And I wouldn't say it's more of a product, it's more of an operating system, a blockchain. So where people can actually build on top of that. And, we've been looking at other people like Feder and everyone else just to see what they're doing. And, we want to be part of that as well, too, and kind of show like, hey, guys, just because we weren't originally part of the Hex and Postchain community, that doesn't mean we can't build something awesome and great for the Postchain community and everyone else who wants to be part of Postchain.
Awesome. Yeah, no, and yeah, Federer's got freaking first mover's edge here. He's got the most validators of anybody right now. So good for him, man. He's a kick-ass dude. I met him multiple times. I love Federer. He's awesome. He's probably soon going to put on a pulse chain tattoo live. So once we get up to all-time highs, so good on him. Huge fan of Federer. And so I just want to see everyone succeed. That's the baseline here. So I got a good question here. Did Lido get forked on Pulse?
Well, so essentially, the original OG LSD is Rocket Pool. I feel like everything is basically quote unquote fork from Rocket Pool.
Okay.
We've took inspiration from Rocket Pool, and we're just putting our algorithms, our thoughts, and just seeing how the Postchain community is, and putting that into our LSD protocol for Postchain. So did Lido get forked from Pulse? No, but we're building something that's going to be even better. So
awesome. Yeah, that's what I needed to hear. And I'm pretty sure that, well, obviously there's when Pulse forked off from ETH, there is dormant code over there. But but you guys are doing your own proprietary stuff. So good to know. And then the other one was, dude, this is a GOAT play. Whoever goes and puts up PLS and staked PLS pool and dominates that pool is going to be making a killing in fees. This is going to be one of the biggest LP trades. So you heard it here first, folks. And Fast Abdul didn't even take a bribe to get him to say that. So, so good on him for sharing the alpha. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. That's sick. And he also said you guys seem sincere and ready to work. So you better hold up to the name.
Yeah, I mean, we remember you, Fast Abdul. We were on the stream with RH Max and you. So, like, again, we just want everyone to win. We're just super, like you said, you saw us in the crew. We're just super focused, hyper focused on what we're doing. Sometimes we can get blindsided and just so heavy into the code. But one thing, our mentor, Marlon Williams, shout out, guys, you got to breathe, you got to look up, you got to have fun, you got to talk to the community. So, after the cruise, you probably saw a little bit of silence, bro. We were going hard, like so hard. It's ridiculous how hard we're going. So we're kind of taking a breather, but we're still going hard every single day. So
it's awesome. Chris, any last words before we hop off here?
Last words. One, thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity to be on your stream. It's always a pleasure. Just remember being on a cruise and being able to talk to you a few times, and talk to everybody that's in the Pulse and Hex community. Very amazing community, and we were just like, even though we put in probably like 20 hours on a 7-day cruise working, we know that we want to continue to work and build so that we are able to enjoy the next cruise that we go on. And hopefully it's the one over the summer. So, we just want to continue to build and continue to work, keep pushing forward, and just make shit happen.
Man.
Guys, thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity to access. Again, please drop by Project Pi. Check out our services. Again, we have full physical nodes, screen, monitor, mouse, everything fully set up. One-click executable for $16.99. We also provide RPC services as well as early staking coming soon, guys. So if you have pulses sitting there, get hyped and get ready for early staking. As you saw in today's stream, that PPY token is going to be no joke, but regardless of the PPY, stake pulse is what's also important. So you guys can lock up your pulse and have liquidity and do what you need to do. Again, thank you so much. Bendo signing off.
My dudes. I put the Telegram link in in the chat there, you guys, so you guys can go hop in there. Maybe you guys will get like 104 new people in there after this, hopefully.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Hey, appreciate you guys. Keep working hard. We'll see you guys in Las Vegas for your pitch, and I can't wait to see how well you guys are going to be doing, dominating the space in the next couple of years. All right.
Appreciate you, man. Have a good one.
Appreciate it.
All right. We'll see you guys later.